Welcome to the Deep Dive, the place where we distill complex source material into crystal clear, actionable knowledge. If you value knowing the strategic why behind the technical what, please take a second right now. Like and subscribe to the channel, and maybe share this deep dive with someone who needs this intelligence.
So today we're doing something really fascinating. We're looking deep inside the tech strategy of higher education.
We're focusing on a major institution, the College of Marin, and really unpacking how they navigate this impossible tightrope walk of modernizing technology.
And it's a balance, right? You've got student satisfaction on one side, cutting-edge security on another, and then the fundamental need for equity across the entire community.
Absolutely. Our mission today is driven by a great set of sources you shared with us. We've got internal IT operational strategies from the College of Marin itself.
We also have some really candid user survey findings from 2018 and 2019. And crucially, some leadership perspectives on equitable access from experts like Dr. Peter Maharaj at other California community colleges.
Yeah, it's specifically the San Diego and North Orange County community college districts.
So the goal here is to really understand how IT services can stop being just, a transactional thing.
The team you call when the Wi-Fi is down.
Exactly. And pivot to becoming a real strategic enabler of institutional change and ultimately student success.
And the documents from College of Marin, they really show an IT department in a state of, well, a deliberate transformation.
They do. Their leadership actually said they were moving from an IT-centric team to a student-focused service organization. And that wasn't just, a slogan on a poster.
No, it was a blueprint. It drove their 2020 operational goals, focusing on cybersecurity, accessibility, and modernizing their core infrastructure. This is where the strategy really hits the silicon.
Okay, so let's unpack that with some actual data. Before all these big projects got underway, what did the community, the students, faculty, staff, what did they actually think of their digital experience day to day?
Those 2018-2019 surveys are surprisingly open about the pain points.
They are. And it's interesting because the overall experience was actually rated pretty highly, good or excellent by most people. 84% of managers, for instance.
So a high standard, but with some very specific weaknesses.
Exactly. Clear trouble spots that were acting like an institutional drag. It's the difference between just performing well and performing strategically.
On the student side, the complaints seem to zero in on two things. First, no surprise, campus wireless access.
Always a big one.
And second, maybe more critically, the banner registration system was a constant source of friction.
And that second point is so important. I mean, if the core function of the college enrollment is a pain, that directly hits student perception. It hits retention.
If you can't even register for a class easily, you're starting off with a bad experience. The tech is actually working against the mission.
Right, and that friction was felt by the staff, too. They also had issues with the Wi-Fi, but they also pointed to the service desk experience.
So the way support was actually delivered needed some work.
A lot of work. And the staff felt a real need for more technology training. They had the tools, but not the confidence to use them effectively. That's a huge strategic vulnerability.
The faculty responses, though, that's where it got really nuanced. They rated the tech in classrooms and labs pretty well.
But there was this strange contradiction.
Right. They encouraged using technology for learning in general, but they were uncomfortable using it in the classroom.
It points directly to a confidence crisis, and the numbers back that up. Only 18% of faculty said they were comfortable with the online teaching environment back then.
18%. Wow.
Yeah. And at the same time, 26% of students actually preferred blended courses. So you have a faculty that believes in the idea of technology but isn't sure how to deliver it.
A total mismatch with student demand. And the college's own internal analysis, their SWOT, it really nailed these internal problems.
It did. The two big internal weaknesses they called out tied directly back to those surveys: inadequate service desk coverage and what they specifically called the bring your own device Wi-Fi challenges.
So supporting all the personal phones, the laptops, the tablets that everyone relies on, that was a massive internal struggle.
A huge friction point, even with those generally positive ratings.
Okay, so that brings us to the core of the problem. This concept of bring your own device, or BYOD, is just non-negotiable in education today.
You can't fight it.
But every single one of those devices is a new security risk, it's a new strain on the network, which their own analysis showed was a major weakness. How do you even start to solve that?
Well, you can't just solve it with a new rule book. You have to fix it at the infrastructure level and the security level at the same time.
Okay.
So to deal with these issues, to protect the college's data and the individual user on their own personal device, Forum laid out a huge project roadmap for 2020.
So what were the big moves? I mean, network stability had to be job number one.
It was a massive upgrade. They went hard on the network hardware. Expanding wireless coverage was ongoing. They planned a major firewall upgrade, and this is key, they started migrating their whole network from older HP systems to Ruckus switches.
Okay, for those of us who aren't network engineers, why is that ruckus switch migration a big deal? Isn't a switch just a switch?
Not really, not in a place like a college campus. Ruckus specializes in high-density Wi-Fi. Their whole thing is building gear that can handle thousands of devices, laptops, phones, tablets, all hitting the network at once without falling over.
So it's a direct investment to solve that bring your own device challenge.
Exactly. It's about making sure the network is fast and reliable when everyone is trying to use it between classes.
That makes a technical choice immediately strategic.
Yeah.
What else were they doing on the infrastructure side?
They also did a secure routing layer 3 conversion. Again, what that means is they were moving to a more modern, more scalable network architecture. It lets you segment traffic better, which is huge for both performance and security on a big campus.
So it's not just about speed. They were building up the defenses too, which you have to do when every phone is a potential way in for an attacker.
Oh, absolutely. On the security and compliance side, they were aiming high. They needed to get new cyber incident management guidelines approved.
A plan for when, not if, something bad happens.
Precisely. And they were working hard to improve compliance with major industry standards, specifically the CIS Critical Security Controls and the federal standard, NIST 800-171.
NIST 800-171. That sounds serious. For a strategic audience, what does complying with a standard like that really mean for a college?
It's all about data integrity. It's the standard for protecting what's called controlled unclassified information. For a college, that means student data, financial aid records, grant info.
Sensitive stuff.
The most sensitive stuff. Following that standard elevates your security posture to a really high institutional level. You're building a digital moat to protect every single student and employee's data.
And they weren't just doing paperwork. The sources show they were also contracting with incident response retainer services. They were getting ready for a fight.
It shows maturity. And you have to remember, this whole embrace of personal devices was strategic. BYOD wasn't just some annoyance to be managed. It was explicitly listed in their application strategy, powered by that Ruckus network. It was a core part of their IT portfolio.
So a truly successful strategy has to use that stability, use that security to actually empower students. It can't just be about protecting the institution.
Exactly.
So let's pivot a bit and look at how other leaders in the California community college system are intentionally using technology as an equity tool. This is where the so what of having a solid infrastructure really comes to life.
And this really is the future of IT in education. We can look at the work of Dr. Peter Maharaj at both the San Diego and the North Orange County Community College districts. His entire approach was about embedding DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility into the core tech strategy itself.
So the secure network that College of Marin was building becomes the foundation you need for that next level of innovation.
It's the prerequisite, and some of the projects are just incredible.
What were some of the ones that really stood out as an example of equitable access?
The Discover AI initiative at SDCCD is a perfect example. They deployed a GPU-powered AI platform available 24/7.
A what now?
A super powerful computer platform for artificial intelligence work. They did it in collaboration with places like UC San Diego and San Diego State.
For a community college, that's revolutionary. Why is giving students access to that an act of equity?
Because that kind of computing power is wildly expensive. It's usually only available to students at rich four-year universities or people who can afford it themselves. By providing it for free, SDCCD created an equitable pathway into fields like machine learning and AI for their students.
Many of whom are first generation or from under-resourced communities.
Exactly. It makes access to these cutting-edge tools about merit and curiosity, not about your ability to pay.
That is a phenomenal way to bridge an opportunity gap. But what about the more basic access gaps, the same Wi-Fi problems that College of Marin was tackling?
They went all in on wireless modernization across the entire district. And it wasn't just fixing the Wi-Fi in classrooms. They expanded high-speed internet to literally every corner of their campuses.
Every corner.
Athletic fields, outdoor student areas, and, critically, their under-resourced continuing education centers. They recognized that learning doesn't stop at the classroom door.
Right. They built the network for the reality of how students live and learn today.
Precisely. The reality is that for many students, their phone is their primary, sometimes their only learning tool. If the Wi-Fi drops when they're studying on the quad, you've just disenfranchised that student.
And they went beyond just connectivity. They were aligning tech with basic needs services.
Absolutely. They had loaner laptop programs so students didn't fail just because they couldn't afford a computer. They set up campus Wi-Fi hotspots and accessible tech hubs to make sure support was there when vulnerable students needed it.
And at North Orange County, we saw data analytics playing a huge role in this.
Yeah, that was fascinating. At NOCCCD, Dr. Maharaj led initiatives that used data to tailor their digital outreach. They could proactively identify students who might be at risk of dropping out. Maybe they hadn't logged in for a while, or they missed a key deadline. The system could flag them for personalized support before a small problem became a crisis.
So when we connect all this back to the initial fix at College of Marin, better switches, fixing the BYOD friction, what's the big strategic lesson here? It seems like security is the foundation for all of these equity efforts.
It is the absolute common denominator. Dr. Maharaj specifically pointed out that adopting stronger security things like multi-factor authentication, DDoS protection, is crucial for advancing equity.
That's a powerful connection I wouldn't have immediately made. Why?
Because if you look at the data, marginalized communities are statistically more vulnerable to digital threats, to scams, to fraud.
So strong security isn't a barrier.
It's the opposite. It's a prerequisite. It ensures that students' digital identities are secure while they're using all these equitable resources. You can't offer amazing access if that access is constantly compromised.
And this all loops perfectly back to the organizational maturity we saw at College of Marin. The tech projects, like meeting NIST compliance, they connect directly to a much broader vision.
Correct. You see a big shift in their financial model. They're moving from CapEx toward OpEx spending by adopting IT as a service, or IaaS.
Can you just briefly explain the strategic importance of that shift from CapEx to OpEx?
Sure. Capital expenditure, CapEx, is big upfront purchases. You buy a server, you own it, you maintain it. Operational expenditure, OpEx, is more like a subscription. You pay monthly for a cloud service.
So it's about flexibility.
It's huge. By using AA, the college frees up staff and budget from just maintaining aging equipment. They can now focus on service delivery and innovation, which is the real strategic goal. It's a maturation of the whole IT function.
And you see this value reinforced in the language they use for a new job description in 2025 for the Director of Information Technology.
It's so explicit. The job isn't just to run a network. It's to align IT plans with the district's strategic priorities. They're expected to be an internal consultant on things like migration to the cloud and adoption of artificial intelligence tools.
That's not a repair manager. That's a strategic executive.
And we know this works because the accreditation report actually commended College of Marin for its robust integrated planning process, which helps improve equitable success. When IT is mature, it's not a cost center, it's an enabler of the entire organization's health.
So the takeaway is that tech leadership today needs that blend of deep technical skill, knowing how to secure a network for thousands of personal devices, and the social vision to use that foundation to deliver real opportunity.
Which brings us to our final thought for you to chew on. We've seen how fixing campus wireless, specifically getting a handle on the bring your own device challenge, is the first step toward achieving amazing things like equitable AI access.
But the biggest hurdle is still that mindset shift inside the institution.
So here's the question. If the ultimate goal of IT services is to empower not just access to tools, but access to futures, how should we really measure organizational success?
Is it by the technical reliability of the network? Did the Wi-Fi stay up 99.9% of the time? Or is it by the measurable reduction of equity gaps in student achievement that secure network helped make possible?
This deep dive really showed us the essential link between the two. A strong, secure, compliant infrastructure, one that handles personal device security and meets high standards, is the critical first step. It's the prerequisite for an organization to achieve its highest, most equitable goals.
The future is built on a stable connection. An excellent thought to end on. If you found this discussion valuable, please like and subscribe to the channel right now and share this deep dive with someone who needs to understand that strategic link between switches, security, and student success. We'll see you next time.